first ever full council meeting to be streamed live over YouTube, and also for us to be present remotely. Clark, do we have members present? Dominic?
Chair, I have.
Chair, thanks, Chair. Right. Yes, I do have members present. It is a notable moment for our first remote meeting. So I will slightly divert from our normal practice, and actually I will call out all the names so that it's clear that I've got all those names. So I've got.
Before you do that, make sure people know they have to unmute.
Okay.
So to answer, they need to unmute, not use chat.
No, Chair, I've already recorded who they are, so I'm not asking them to call back now. But I've actually taken.
Okay, fine.
So we have yourself, Councillor Baines. We have Councillor De Serbo, Councillor Dixon, Councillors Fraser, Golding, Greenwood,
Correct.
and Cahin, Cabarana, Odenuru, Oguntola, Pafford, Petchy, and Uranta.
Okay. Is there anybody that hasn't been called out? Sounds good to me. Thank you.
I didn't hear Cahin. Did I hear him?
He's there. Adam is there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Terry,
Okay. So.
Terry, before we start, I couldn't see the poll. I don't know where that.
Okay. Well, it's probably disappeared by the time you got to it, David, because there's too many. A lot of people came in and said yes, they saw it. So we'll get it back up. If you don't see it, then let me know when we're ready to vote, and I'll take your vote then.
Okay.
Did we have any apologies for absence, Clark?
Chair, I think we agreed that Councillor Kent is offering her apologies because of IT challenges. At the same time, Councillor Kendrick is working downstairs in the members' room trying to establish a connection. So if he doesn't do that, I think we would put him into the same category. And I also know that Councillor Horton Davis is herself working hard trying to join us tonight in the meeting. So all three are in the same category. Hopefully they may be able to join us during the course of the meeting, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, are there any declarations of interest?
No.
I will take that silence as a no. And we have any members of the public present? Yes, we do. We've got I think we've got a member in the lobby and also the clerk from Chesham Town Council who is listening, which is a good thing. Members, we're going to go on to item 2, which is the minutes of the meeting of council held on the 17th of March 2020.
Sorry, Chair. Can I have for clarification, please? Sorry. The people in the lobby, are they seeing us?
I believe so. Yes.
Are they seeing what? Are they hearing what you are doing, but not participating? Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
We will be bringing them in from the lobby once we get public. So if I can just continue, please, Tubo. You can mute yourself, please. Thank you. Excellent. Members, normally we go through page by page on the minutes. You've had your agenda pack for a while now, electronically and then as a hard copy. Are there any items of the minutes that are not actual apart from for Ray? Then I will take that as a no. So I will now ask you members if we can have the poll up now again, please, Elaine. Ray, I saw you got your hand up, which I take it was your apology, which I've already dealt with. I think that's correct, is it?
Chair, there's two actually. One was obviously that's been sorted, with regards to minutes, but the second one in the poly poll, because actually, sorry, it's been sorted. I can abstain.
You can abstain because you wasn't there. You can. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Tom, can you see the poll?
No.
No. Right. Tom, what is your vote for the poll? Is it a yes to receive the minutes or a no?
To accept the minutes, Chair.
Thank you very much. Clark, you have that, I take it?
Chair, I do. Chair, could I just ask a question to you, to Councillor Fraser? Tom, do you have your chat facility open at the moment where you would actually see the poll?
I've got chat open at the moment.
Okay.
There's agenda item bar and oh, sorry, it's just come up.
Excellent.
It's just come up.
Okay, thanks for confirming that. And Chair, I can also see that Councillor Halton Davis has now been able to join us, which is excellent news.
Penny, if you can hear us, do you vote yes for the receipt for the agreement on the minutes?
Councillor Halton Davis needs to unmute herself, Chair. But she may have difficulty that because bear in mind the device she's using it on.
Okay. I think we're okay there anyway. I'm going to take that vote as 85%, 6 people yes for the minutes, and 14% 1 for an abstention. There's nobody against, so I think we're quite happy that we can take that as a read. Members, I will now sign those amended minutes. Okay. Where now we have public involvement. Have we let everybody in from the lobby, or is I saw Andrew Herman had left?
There are no, there is nobody else in the lobby, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Bill, did you want to say anything while you were there as a member of the public?
No, not at all, Chair. Just to say we are going through the same painful exercise as yourself, so it's simply a question of checking operation and seeing if there's any errors, which I'm sure there won't be from your end.
We're trying. Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you, though. Good luck.
Okay, we're going on to members' matters. We had one question. Thank you for that, Tubo. A response has been sent. The question was regarding the lack of consultation with the bus companies when they go to change routes or cancel routes. Tubo, are you happy that the response you've got is enough, or do you need any more?
Thank you, Chair. I shouldn't say I'm not happy, but I have to accept it. That's the only option I have, because
yes.
It's not something we can change.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Just for the members, I did send out to everybody so they saw it. So hopefully everybody saw that today. And there was no other members' matters. So we're going on now onto Chair's report.
Chair.
You'll find my Chair's report on page 11.
Chair. Chair, it's Dominic.
Yes, Dominic.
Just before we move on from the subject of the question that Councillor Uranta made, I think the improved way of working is that we have received notifications previously and opportunities to comment through the Milton Keynes bus user group, and I think that going forward on a more proactive basis, the planning committee need to look at those opportunities and respond accordingly. So that way our voice and our opinion will be funneled up through the system.
Thank you for and I'm sure, Brian, you've got that. You've written that, and to make sure the planning committee will push that forward. Thank you. Item 5.
I would agree with that, but we need to sort of obviously look at where we are at the moment and take it forward. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Item 5, Chair's report. I hope everybody's managed to read through that. Is that received? Take that as a
Thank
you very much. And item 6, the clerk's report. Again, hopefully everybody's read through that. It's a very concise report, and I thank Dominic for that. I did say when I sent mine out that I'm sure Dominic's will be written better, and it certainly was. Again, is that received?
Yes.
Thank you. Page 17 has an awful lot of correspondence. You will guess a lot of it is for coronavirus and COVID-19. Council is invited to note the schedule of correspondence received during the last month. Members, is that noted?
Yes, so noted.
Yes.
Noted.
Thank you. And we have 2 ward members' reports. One from Carl Cavarana and one from Penny Holton Davis. Members, can I ask, are they received?
Yes, thank you.
Received. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
And now we go on to item 9, which I believe the clerk is going to speak to.
Thank you, Chair. The actions that council have taken since introducing the delegated powers at the March meeting of council have been documented both in your report and the report that I've also made and been received by council, and there have been any number of emails that have gone to members in the meantime, the content of which has been noted in our correspondence list. So we know where we are as such, but now this is an opportunity for council to be able to not necessarily review what we've done, because in essence that has been done with the very best intention and to the best of our ability, but it's to look forward to say that should we continue with more of the same, adapting our response to any given situation, or are there additional measures that we need to identify that we can actually put in place that will supplement the actions that we are already taking. So it's a case of this is where we are, where else might we be if we put some additional measures into place, and it's really a case of throwing that out to the members tonight to kind of get a feeling from council as to where we are and where we need to be. What I would ask you to kind of focus your thoughts on is that because we've had to use put a lot of our resources behind the remote meetings, and also working extensively with Cloudy on the whole migration through to 365, it hasn't been possible to actually put forward plans in immediately for our committees to all of them to meet in the next month as they ordinarily would. So when we're looking at the plans that we might put in place, we need to do some thinking for our other committees, because it may be that they're not going to start meeting fully again until the full June meeting cycle. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Does anybody want to add on that? If they do, can I see a hands up in the chat, please? So type into your chat, hands up.
Oh, what the hell's chat?
I don't know how to put a hands up, but I was going to type a note if that's okay.
No, if you're Elaine, you're there now. Is there anything you want to add? I'll leave you first.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Right, first of all, I think everybody's done an amazing job. But from a personal perspective, as chair of the Community and Social Wellbeing Committee, I felt a bit out of the loop and I thought I should have been at the heart of things. So going forward, if we can consider perhaps making sure that I'm involved so that my team are involved so we know what's going on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Does anybody, Brian, I saw you, I haven't seen it come up, but do you, there is new messages. Sorry, I'm not getting new messages through.
I did try.
So let's see what we've got.
Yeah, I did try.
Bear with me 1 minute.
Just I have
Okay.
a question, please.
I did try.
Can you hear me?
Right, I've got, right, Ray Golding, please. Hands up.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Chair. Just with regards to what Dominic was saying, I did send out an email today to Brian. With regards to planning, I think that we need to start the virtual planning meetings from next month, because if we don't, there's no other way apart from making our own personal comments, where as a committee we should be driving our thoughts through the appropriate channels through council.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you for that. Tubo.
Thank you.
It's not working.
Elaine, can you please, I've got you, Brian. Elaine, can you please mute your microphone? Thank you.
Can I talk now?
Tubo.
Thank you. Chair, thank you. Well, again, just to hinge on what the last speaker said, I appreciate everybody's hard work on this, making this work. However, we are still passing through some teething problems in terms of managing it. But I still believe that if this is going to be a new way going forward within now and the next two meetings, that by the scene of everything, I expected us to get a bit of perfection. Today, I was expecting us to get more than 9 faces here, apparently, which we were told that would have happened, just to make a good feel of what we are doing. But we still have the same 4 faces showing up. So, and I believe within now and maybe a month to come, considering the number of meetings we do have, that this improvement will carry on. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Greenwood.
Yeah, thank you, Tubo. I don't want to talk about negatives. I want to be about positives. We do have certain things we need to deal with. Ray is quite correct that things are going on behind our backs and we do need a planning meeting. And apart from that, what we're trying to do is just keep people informed, and we've got to work together. That's it.
Thank you. Adan.
Thank you, Chair. I don't have any comment, but just only I want to make sure if my, because I don't see anything when I'm signing in the chat meeting here, I don't see my name. So do you see my name here?
I do, yes.
Can you hear me?
I see your name.
Yeah.
You are there, Adan. Have you got anything else you want to say?
No, thank you, Brian. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Can you mute your microphone then, please?
Okay,
David
yeah.
Pafford.
What's happened here?
David, have you unmuted?
Right, that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
it was really a question of some of the points that Tubo said. And I think it still points relevant to things like the poll and the chat line. You did pick me up this time, but of course I found the other day that my message wasn't getting through. That's all, Chair.
Thank you very much. Dominic.
Thank you, Chair. Just to reflect on a couple of the thoughts that have been aired in the course of the last few comments. sometimes the perception of the individual isn't necessarily the reality of what everybody else is seeing or hearing. So we've all got a long way to go with our learning behind this. So I hear what you're saying, but actually the reality of some of this is that we can see you, we can hear you, and the facilities are there for you to use. However, because the time frame for us to all get up to speed with them has been so tight, we're not as comfortable with them as we would ordinarily be, but that will come with time. So as I said in my clerk's report, we will learn from our early virtual meetings and apply that learning down the line. I'm delighted to see that Cloudy have been working away in the background, because Catherine has now joined us as well. So welcome to Catherine to the meeting. To address the points that a number of members have raised about planning, the community officer has worked closely with the chair of planning to ensure that indeed not just the members of the planning committee, but all councillors are aware of every single application that is going through. The majority of applications are relatively minor, and there's certainly no major applications currently under consideration. There are a number of ongoing issues that we're aware of around appeals and public inquiries, and where relevant information is coming out about those, that's being forwarded to all councillors as part of the planning update. In terms of the plan, or how we perceive planning being dealt with in the month of May, is the community officer sent out the planning update today. We will continue to monitor any new applications that are validated by Milton Keynes Council, with a contingency put in place that any significant ones will be put on the May council agenda. So there will be an opportunity for that to do. But I go back to my previous comment. We have had to put a huge amount of resource behind this, and I'm not sure if you individually fully appreciate the amount of resource that's needed just to put our first meeting together. That we will return to our normal meeting schedule as soon as possible, but we need to strike the right balance between holding professional remote meetings and addressing the issues that need consideration around the parish.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Dominic.
Tom, I see you there. I don't want to speak last, so I am going to speak now. Members, I want to just reiterate what Dominic just said, because the resources that have gone into just setting up these meetings, having meetings sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a day with Cloudy, you know, to make sure that everything is running right. We've done in a week, which most companies would need 3 to 4 weeks to set up. I'd like, personally, I'd like it to be on the record, to thank Cloudy IT and Elaine and Dominic, because the work they've done has been unbelievable. Thank you. And that is on behalf of every single one of us. And
Absolutely.
Elaine De Serbo, I see that comment there, and I'm gonna spread it out. It is amazing how you have done this so far. Well done, Team CPPC. That is a team effort. You know that I'm a major believer in teamwork, and that's exactly what we've done. Again, it was only been possible by you members giving the clerk the delegated powers, working with myself and Brian as chair and vice chair. Without that, we would not have gone forward. And again, this is a forward-thinking parish council which is prepared to grasp everything that's thrown at it and deal with it properly. Thank you. Tom, you're next, please.
Just a comment for Councillor De Serbo. We are actually engaged as members of the public report to councillors, and I have had a couple. I actually went into one house because they thought the old man was going to be dead. Very close. But we are salvaging these things, and certainly by our staff. It's unbelievable. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to speak? Ray Golding, I see that. Thank you. Well done to all involved. Okay, members, that was invited to receive, and I think we've received that with the way we've spoken. So I'm going to go on to 10(2). Oh no, we are. Right. There is something else on that 10(1). Carl, I believe you wanted to make a motion with regard to the annual meeting of council.
Chair, we've slightly gone out of step there. So that the whole of that was item.
That was 9. We're going on to 10 now. Yeah. Okay. Item 10. Local authorities and police and crime panels, coronavirus, flexibility of local authority and police and crime panel meetings, England and Wales, regulations 2020. Council is invited to receive and consider the now legal briefings appertaining to the above legislation with specific regard to 1, Regulation 4. This removes the requirement to hold an annual meeting of council with further provision that an appointment which would otherwise be made or is required to be made, whatever. Carl, I believe you have a motion that you want to bring on that.
I do, Chair. Thank you very much. I've got a motion for 2 things. One is that the annual meeting of council is not held this year, and that we continue with the chair and vice chair of the whole council and subcommittees as they are for this following year.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that?
Yes, I second that.
Thank you very much, Tubo. Okay, members, what I need you to do now, please, if you would like to speak on this motion, will you please put a hands up in the chat?
Okay. Oh.
Chair, I know that Catherine is absolutely brand new to Teams during the course of this meeting. I can hear her in the background, and I think it would be reasonable to think that yes, she wants her hand up as well, but just hasn't found the button yet.
Apologies, Chair, my chat doesn't appear to be working.
Is that Brian? Do you want to speak?
Just really to sort of support the motion, simple as that.
Thank you very much. Okay, Elaine De Serbo.
I'm happy to continue, and please keep me involved with what's happening going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I have Carl cover. Oh, you can sum up if you want to, Carl. I'll leave you to last. So stay where you are. Tom. Oh, we appear to have lost Tom.
Chair, could I suggest you you go to Councillor Kaheen, and then we'll see if we can go back to Tom.
Yeah, Councillor Adan Kaheen.
I'm happy to be as it is now.
Thank you for that, Adan.
Yeah.
Catherine Kent.
Oh God, I don't know if I'm doing this right. I don't know which.
We can hear you, so.
Okay, I just want to say that. Oh God, I agree with what's been put forward. I think it should go that way.
Thank you very much, Catherine. If you can now, if you look in your taskbar, you can mute your microphone again. Do we have Tom back?
Yes, Chair.
Hello, Tom.
It's implicit that the chair remains the chair until a new chair is elected, whenever that might be, and that, I mean, that's the law of the land. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much for that, Tom. I think what we're trying to get to here is to say, I think the idea is that we carry on rather than having elections. That is what what Carl, I think, is saying. So, Carl.
Yes, Chair. It's basically so, getting people to say they want to be chair and vice chair and so on. Let's keep it as it is. Let's keep going. Let's make sure that we are positive on what we're doing, where we are at the moment, remotely working, etc. So keep the changes as limited as possible, and that way we can continue to deliver what we've been delivering.
Thank you, Clark.
Thank you, Chair. I'm mindful that members have maybe started to indicate in the chat their voting preferences. I'm hoping that Elaine is going to indicate very shortly that she's just about to populate the next poll. As and when she does that, could I just ask that that all members just familiarise themselves with the poll in the first instance, and then actually use it as and when invited to do so by the chair, and it will kind of just streamline things as much as possible. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Tubo, yes, we'll be voting when the poll comes up. And members, can I remind you that everything you put in the chat can be seen by everybody else. So just remember that it's there. Okay. Penny, are you able to identify your vote, because I know you can't see the poly poll.
Chair, I suspect that Penny hasn't got the ability to speak because she can't unmute her device on the small script view that she's got.
Okay. Is there can anybody please speak to answer my question? Have you got? Can you see the poll?
No.
Yes, and I voted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who said no?
Brian.
That's right. Brian, are you voting for, against, or abstention?
For.
Thank you very much. You have that recorded. Okay. Members, I will ask you now to vote.
I have voted.
You have already voted. Okay, don't worry about it. If you have voted already, you haven't voted, then please vote. I've just
Terry,
lost my
Terry,
chat.
again, I can't see the poll.
Right. Are you voting for, against, or an abstention?
For.
Thank you. That has been recorded by the clerk. I can now vote. Submit that vote. Okay, members, those of you that haven't voted, can you please vote now?
Sorry, Chair. I vote.
Chair, you've got Councillor Odonu. We're trying to join.
Hello, Christina. I did see you earlier. I'm sorry I didn't speak to you because we were halfway through something. Can you see the poll?
It's just come up. Thank you.
Okay, so if you can I ask members to now vote either yes as a for, no for against, or in the abstain?
I don't know what the poll is.
Have you got it there, Catherine?
No, I don't know what I'm looking for.
Right, okay. Use your cursor to press anywhere on your screen.
Yeah.
You'll have a toolbar come up.
Yeah.
You have a little speech box, which is if you look from the right, you've got the red one, which is the end call. You've got the next one, which is the people that are there. The next one is chat. Press chat.
Chat.
Yeah, it says that it's like a speech bubble.
I don't see it.
On your taskbar that's just come up, you've got a red box.
Yeah.
It's called conversation.
To the left of that, you've got two people. And then to the left of that, you've got the chat one. Just touch on the chat one and it should come up.
Chair, I can actually see those members that have actually voted already, just to move us beyond this situation. If I call out the remaining names and members, so I'm just going to start alphabetically. Councillor Fraser. Right. Councillor Golding.
I did say yes and voted.
So that was a 4, yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Greenwood?
4.
We're not going to hear what Councillor Horton Davis says unless she populates it within the chat area itself. Councillor Cahin? Councillor Kent?
Yes.
Councillor Odnowu?
She's voted. It's in the list.
Okay, Chair. That's not in the list that I can currently view because I've got
Okay, I'm seeing Nana, Crispina, David Pappard plus 6 more.
Okay, that's updated then with a few more. Okay, and then.
Can you see me?
Yeah,
you were always there. You were always there, Tubo.
Chair.
And I've got Councillor. I've now got both councillors and Odonuwu.
Thank you, Clark. Yes, Elaine.
Sorry, Chair Clark. We have Councillor Oguntola, Councillor Odinu, Councillor Pafford, Councillor De Serbo, Councillor Baines, Councillor Uranta, Councillor Cavanara, Councillor Dixon and Councillor Pecci have all voted using the poll and have all voted for the motion. And then in your chat, you will see that Councillor Cahin has also voted for the motion, and as has Councillor Kent. Councillor Pecci would like to speak.
Martin.
Only to report, Chair, that my internet briefly went down during the poll, but I had already voted, so that I am obviously back online now.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have overwhelmingly got a yes vote on that, so that motion is carried.
Terry, can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
On the meeting chat, I've got the agenda item motion as proposed, and I voted on that, but the boxes are still staying there. And it says submit vote, but that's just staying there anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. It stays there the whole time now while we're in the meeting. It will just go up as we go on more chat.
Okay.
Members, we're going on to 10.2. And this deals with Regulation 5, and this is just a missive really to let you to say what it says. This permits the holding of remote meetings, which we are already doing. The effects of the regulations that persons attending the local council meetings do not need to be in the same place, and that is it. We are already using that, so thank you very much. We now go on to item 11. Council is invited to know that although there is still a requirement to hold an annual meeting of parish electors, originally planned for the 3rd Tuesday in May, the current prohibition on gatherings means that it is unlikely to go ahead before the normal deadline of the 1st of June 2020. Council is further invited to consider the briefing note from Milton Keynes Council, which is at page 27. I find it strange that the government, the annual meeting of electors, it's as if I don't think they probably understand that we actually are supposed to hold a meeting of electors. And I think we need to, as a council, we need to broach the subject with BALC and ask them to go forward to NALC to get an answer on this as soon as possible. We legally can't hold the meeting because we're not allowed to have that many, as many people, or a public meeting with the numbers we would require. So,
Right.
I don't know where we go with this. I think we just leave it as it is. I think it's something that we legally can't do, but we're legally required to do. Dominic.
Chair, just to remind members that the requirement is to hold the annual meeting of parish electors between the 1st of March and the 1st of June. Now, going back several meetings, you will recall that we made provision to slightly rejig our meetings in May, such that we were going to bring forward the annual meeting of council by a week, and the May meeting itself. And at that point, we were going to slot the annual meeting of parish electors in on the 3rd Tuesday in May, which would have been in line with the requirement. So we can quite easily demonstrate that was our intention to do so. Events have clearly taken over, and we are currently in the situation that we are. Now, the legislation was obviously put through at great speed, and I don't think that maybe some of the kind of the refinements there are within the various types of meeting that it was trying to address, that I think it was potentially an anomaly that the annual meeting of parish electors was missed. It may have been that they felt that was dealt with through our requirement not to hold the annual meeting of council. It is something that I have previously put a query into with BALC. At the same time, you've seen the briefing from Milton Keynes Council on the subject. I think there is likely to be a very small chance of any recourse to us whatsoever, because the situation just simply didn't allow for us to do so. We engage regularly with members of the public, and I think that we can put a measure in place that will be in the spirit of what we intended to do in May, but we can do something very similar as and when the conditions allow, Chair.
Thank you very much. Do any members need to speak on that, or are we happy just to receive or to note of the requirement?
Yes.
What
Chair,
was
you
that?
have Tom,
Was that
Tom first.
Tom?
Thank you, Chair. In actual fact, it's not our meeting. It is the public's meeting,
Yes.
to which the chair of the parish or the local council is invited to chair it. So it's up. We are simply satisfying the requirement to provide a service for their meeting. It's not our meeting. I know we tend to monopolise it when it does take place, but I think we should always remember that it's not our meeting, it's their meeting, and the chair of council is invited to officiate at the meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Tom. Does anybody else want to speak? Can you put a hands up in the chat, please?
Chair, you have Councillor Uanta.
Yeah, I've just seen that. Yes, Tubo.
Thank you, Chair. It is good that we heard from Tom that it is a public meeting. And although we set aside a platform for it, we normally organize it for the public. They wouldn't have time and or whatever it is to do it. We organize it and give them a date. If this is going to, it is good this happened, to be frank. I believe that this will give us a different method or tactics to follow this up. If for any reason this type of thing happens in the future, possibly it will be an ideal thing again to pass, be it a poll, be it something we can call on this type of meeting, virtual meeting as well, that could host more than many people. You, the chair, can still host it for them while we all stay in the lobby and watch what happens. But in any case, in future, probably we should let the public know that this is going to happen, and maybe if it is going to be on this mode or any other different mode. Thank you.
Thank you. Nana.
Yeah, I was just going to say that since we're not having elections, that means that our cycle we've not finished our annual cycle. So we're going to have our next election. So we don't have to report. We're not reporting for the year. So I think it's okay to not have it this year because we actually not finished our cycle. We're not having elections till next year. So it kind of works. That's how I see it. I think it works that way.
Thank you very much. Okay, it's to note, so we're not going to hold any vote on it. We will just hold it if we can, if we get allowed to by the 1st of June. If not, then we've done everything we needed to do, and I think I really believe that we've done as much as we possibly can. Okay, item 12, 2020 Parish Council elections cancellation. Council invited to note that the Parish Council elections due to be held in May 2020 have been cancelled, with councillors' terms of office extended to 2021. What's not in there is once elected in 2021, it will be for 3 years only. That way, then we come back onto the Electoral Commission's agreed cycle. So the next time we get elected, it will be for 3 years only. Is that noted?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Members, at page 31 of your agenda, you will find the landscape services update from Dan Mott. I'm hoping everybody's managed to have a read through it. And is there anything in there that anybody needs to desperately needs to speak about? Can you please put hands up in the chat box? Or if you haven't got the chat box, just shout L. Dominic.
Brian.
I've got you, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. By way of a further update, you will see that the initial cycle of grass cutting has been completed in working with the new ways of working and priorities identified by Milton Keynes Council. The main driver for all of that has been to keep the landscape team and the members of the public safe at all time through social distancing measures. I think it's been a matter of sort of like email communication that even working within those limitations, the team have made a fantastic initial impact on the areas across the parish. But it is an evolving service. Daniel would love to get feedback from you individually about your areas, to get your understanding of how you see that the team are performing, and also to identify some opportunities for them to take hold of as well. So there's that. They're now currently starting the second cycle of grass cutting. I saw them working hard today in Fishermead despite the persistent rain. It's very much just a sign of the current situation that currently there are far more vehicles parked in the estate during the day, which is actually just stopping them being able to access a few of the areas. At the same time, City Fibre have got multiple roadworks, guardings and equipment left across there. So they're having to work within that situation at the moment. So as I say, the main thing is please feed back to Daniel, because he'd love to get some individual input as to how the service is being perceived in your areas. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'm going to speak next, and then I've got Brian. We've had several, and I mean several, comments and feedback from members of the public coming to the office about how good it has been to see our landscape team out doing the grass, cutting grass, and making a good job of it. And also, we were asked for feedback to go to Milton Keynes Council with photos, which we did, because the first time they cut in Fishermead and in Oldbrook, the following day, Milton Keynes sent Serco in to do a deep clean on both estates. And I must say, I have never seen Fishermead looking as clean as it did one day. And it was one day only, because we still had the normal areas that actually filled the streets with fly tipping again. I've actually had an email from Nicholas Hannon, who's the head of landscaping, myself, and I know that Dominic's received an email thanking the team very much for the efforts and the work they've done. It goes to prove that devolved landscape services was the right way to go, and I'm mighty proud that this council went that way, because it's absolutely great to get feedback from the public. It's not something that happens very often. It's not something that happens enough. And I've actually managed to, I'm going to let Dominic tell us. Dominic, what happened with the email that you sent in with regard to what happened to it and going on Milton Keynes Council's website?
Well, Chair, it was just an interesting kind of series of events that ultimately I was just making some comments to the programme manager for Milton Keynes Council for the devolved landscape service, just saying that although it was coincidental, the two teams working together from our devolved landscape service and from Serco had such a positive impact on the estates at a time when it's very challenging for all residents, and I think it was a real boost for people. And that was when the service director ultimately at Milton Keynes Council came through, asked for some images to be shared, and it was put up as a good working example of devolved service working alongside the main Milton Keynes Council, one of their contractors, and ultimately it somehow morphed into I'd sent them a compliment, which was an interesting turn of events. But nonetheless, it just goes to show that if we take the time to put some positivity into Milton Keynes Council, I think we will get some future working opportunities with them as well. So all round, it was a good outcome.
Brian.
Let's unmute. Excuse me, I've got a wet cat on my lap. She just jumped off. Right, it's been fantastic what I've seen so far. You've seen a lot better concern, if you like, for doing the job properly. I mean, obviously, my little bit when I first joined the council was about the end bits, for example, on Brearley Avenue. They are lower. As long as we keep them lower, that's fine. One thing I wanted to ask is that within our team, I understand we've lost a member. Is that being dealt with in-house, and are we sort of going to bring that up again, or?
Chair, if I can respond to that. Yeah, absolutely. That is something that I've made the personnel committee aware of, and I'm currently working with the landscape manager to kind of bring back a proposal that puts us in the best position. Intriguingly, the kind of restricted ways of working that we're having to adopt means that the impact has actually been lessened. But as and when that restriction is lifted later on in the year, at some point, it could potentially restrict our abilities. So, as I say, I'm working with the landscape manager to fill that, because the requirement is absolutely there. So it's just an awkward time to to look at recruitment. We're not in quite a normal situation.
No, it's a shame because everything else has been positive.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. David Pafford.
Thank you, Chair. I'm putting the hands up there, and I've sent the message, but it doesn't seem to reflect. So I'm not seeing what you're seeing in terms of that. Yeah, they're doing a good job. I would just say 2 issues. One is please don't forget our areas that we already owned, and I'm thinking of the pond. But the other thing is that because so many people now are at home, I see that there's a lot of cars parking on the landscaping. And I think that's something we need to look at about why people are using the hard standing in terms of landscaping parking on rather than on their drives, especially when we've got to get our own guys in there to cut the grass and that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. And just to add a note to that, I actually spoke to the supervisor down in Oldbrook today and yesterday with regard to City Fibre parking trailers, plant and vehicles on the grass. I have told them that as the parish council has a responsibility for the landscape, if it is damaged and requires repair, they will be getting the bill. And one of their managers overheard it and he has stopped it, or supposedly stopped it. But there we go. Thank you, members. I take it that that report is received. Thank you.
Received.
Absolutely, yeah.
Item 14 is my members' item. Members, Milton Keynes Council, the Parks Trust have already banned the use of Chinese lanterns from any land that they own. There's a couple of reasons why we need to look at banning them. One is the overstretched Milton Keynes Fire and Rescue that ends up when people are asked to send up Chinese lanterns as a celebration for the NHS and things like that. They forget that there's a need at the end of that when there is a fire, especially when it was dry and we cut the grass. Other areas have cut the grass and we end up with grass fires. Also, not very far outside our boundary, and in fact, it's literally across the road from Woolston, where there are horses and there are sheep grazing, and the other side at Central Milton Keynes at Campbell Park, where Parks Trust have sheep grazing. These Chinese lanterns, when they land, are dangerous for animals. So therefore, I would like to make the following motion. Following the Parks Trust of Milton Keynes Council lead in prohibiting the use of Chinese lanterns on any land owned by them, that Campbell Park Parish Council now do the same for all land owned or leased. This is important to ensure Buxton Milton Keynes Fire and Rescue Services do not have to continue reacting to fires during dry season, stretching the available resources. It is further important to our wildlife and grazing animals, some of which are just outside our boundary, as a remnant of these motions. I'm making that a motion, but I do want to ask for a... Thank you, Brian. Does anybody wish to speak? Brian, do you want to speak?
Just very quickly, yes, I'm fully supportive of this. We've got to look after the wildlife that we have. I mean, the way the city was built was encouraging wildlife to live their lives a lot better than it would be in an atmosphere like London, for example, and we just got to support it.
Thank you very much. I've got Carl Cavarana and Adan. Carl.
My hand is up as well.
Okay, yeah, I don't see you, but yes, okay, I've got you, Tubo.
I'm very much in favour of this. In fact, I'd like to see it go to the fact that we ban it from shops being sold in Milton Keynes. But let's just ban it from the use at the moment and see if we can take it the next step further, so we can ban the actual sale in Milton Keynes, because they are a menace to wildlife, potential fire, not only to fields, but obviously some of the older villages within Milton Keynes have got thatched cottages. That is a major problem for them as well. So yeah, I'm all for this.
Thank you. Adan here. You need to unmute, Dan.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And as we are a part of Milton Keynes Council, and Milton Keynes Council also banned these things to use, as it's not good for safety, health and safety. I'm also in favor of this motion.
Thank you very much, Ellen. Can you remember just to mute your microphone again? Tubo.
Chair, I have hands down.
Oh, hands down instead. Okay, thank you. I take it that nobody else wants to speak on that. Okay, so we have there a poly poll. Who can't see the poly polls? Tom is one, isn't it? Tom, how do you vote? 4, thank you. Penny, just in case you're there.
4.
Thank you. Welcome, Penny. We can hear you now. Is there anybody else that cannot see the poly poll?
Yeah, me.
Brian, how are you voting?
4.
Thank you.
I
Clark,
can't
do you
see
have
it.
those 3 votes?
Yes, I also have Councillor Kent, who just said that she couldn't see the poll either, Chair.
Okay. Dan, can you not see the poll? I saw your hand
Yes,
go up.
I voted for.
Thank you, thank you. Right, okay, members,
Sorry,
you'll
Chair.
see there, agenda item 14, motion as proposed. Can you please either vote for, against, or? Thank you. And don't forget to submit vote afterwards.
Sorry, Chair.
Hello?
Yeah, it's Ray, Chair.
Hello, Ray.
Yeah, sorry, I can't see the poly vote.
Okay, are you voting for, against, or abstain?
4, please.
Thank you very much.
Chair, I can't see it and I want to vote for.
Catherine Kent for. You've got that, Dominic, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Has everybody voted? Carl, I see you with the hands up again. Did you want to speak again?
No, Chair, that was the original hands up.
Oh, was that the original hands up? Right, okay, that's good.
I'm not put it up again.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that, members.
Terry,
That is
moving on.
7. Sorry.
Terry, David speaking. Before moving
Hello.
on, yeah, when they look at this bar at the bottom, tell them they've got to go to show conversation, and that will bring up the poll.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Right, we have 7 plus how many 4s, Dominic? Sorry,
Chair, 8. 8 4s plus the other 5 that I have here and 1 abstention.
That's 13 for, none against, 1 abstention. That motion is carried. We have got to have a review of the signage down on our land at some point anyway. So hopefully that will be dealt with at the next meeting of that committee. Members, item 15, committee meeting dates. There is only one committee meeting is due, and that is on Tuesday, the 5th of May. But the time is to be confirmed because with all of us being at home that are on that committee, I am minded to hold it during the day so that Lisa is a lot of Lisa. Dominic.
Thank you, Chair. That agenda has gone out today and it's at its conventional time. I believe that the RFO has included an item for the date of subsequent meetings to be discussed beyond May.
That will be 6:30 on Tuesday, the 5th of May. Time to be that's right. Okay, so we got that. All other committees will be convened as and when required and publicised on the Parish Council notice boards and website. Members, thank you for your patience. This is the first full meeting we've had with so many people attending. It is not easy to keep control when there are so many people there and having to watch so many different things. Thank you all for your understanding and your patience on being brought forward to speak. It certainly isn't as easy as having members in front of you. So again, thank you. We will now we will. I'll see you, Dominic, in a moment. We will be looking at the next meeting again in May as a remote, because I'm sure we will still not be allowed to meet. And I look forward to seeing you then, Dominic.
I'm a hand down, Chair.
Hand down. Okay. Thank you, members.
Chair.
With that being done,
Chair,
the
Chair, you've
time
got Councillor
is.
October.
Oh, Dana.
Just to say, well done. That was a very good meeting, and congratulations, Campbell Park Parish Council, for going digital. I mean, that was really good for our first meeting.
I love it. I love it. We've come into the 20th.
Well done to all of you, all the hard work, Dominic, the clerk, and
well done.
of you guys working behind the scenes to make it happen.
Thank you all so much.
I don't like it.
It's great. It's a
I like it.
Can't wait for the community.
We've been pushed right into it.
Okay. Thank you, members. I now declare the meeting closed at 20:38. We can't do that when we're all together. Well done.
Thank you.
You know all how to hang up on the central bar. Just press the red button, and that will then hang you up.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Terry, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you still.
David,
David, hang on. We've got to end the recording first.
Ryan, if you could just stop the live stream now, that'd be fantastic, please.
And the recording. Are you doing the recording, Dominic?